Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So we're here with Zoom, well Alliyah and Fela from Zoom. If you haven't watched the tour that we did with them already, go and click that video and then come back to this. But yeah, in this video we're just going to be asking them some questions really about their SA journey in property and yeah.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Obviously like and subscribe and yeah, let's get straight into it. So guys, good friends of ours. Pleasure's always in a nice 2-bed SA.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, how if you would like to give the guys a bit of background, where you at, how you got here, and a bit about your story.
So basically, obviously, when we first started, like what July 2019. Actually, we found out we was on the same like crash course, like Samuel Lee's crash course. But that's after that was recently we found out that we was at that crash course. So obviously I went to that crash course with my sister and stuff like that. And yeah, obviously at that time we didn't really know what kind of strategy we wanted to go with and stuff like that. So yeah, SA just seemed like the easiest one to get into. Like rather you don't even really need that much money. All you need to do is not to persuade and not to sell yourself to people, kind of thing, to landlords and agents and stuff like that. So yeah, that was how we started. So we started like what, August 29th? September, yeah. Well, I started calling it August, but our first like actual deal that went over the line was September 2019, which was a 1-bed, just literally down the road from here. I remember we spent weeks setting that up, and even now we look at it back at it like it's a 1-bed. What took us so long setting that up? So yeah. And then obviously from there with that same agent we got our second deal, which kind of came to us, and he called us saying, listen, you've been doing with the first bed, you've done an amazing job with it, do you want to take this on? We took on the second one literally in December, completed on it in January kind of thing. Then lockdown hit in March, and then that's when we kind of, instead of we were getting loads of cancellation and stuff like that, but we always remembered that when people are panicking, it's time to be greedy, kind of thing. That's one of the things that got Samuel Lee's in his crash courses and stuff like that. So yeah, literally we just combined our savings and just started taking on units, even though we knew that we might make a loss in the short term, but we'll reap the rewards like in the long run. And well, here we are a year after, and we're still in lockdown, but
I know.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Yeah, literally that's it. And obviously, what would you want to add? Like, obviously, you're more of like the guest person. You're kind of reason why our social media blew up. So in them terms, kind of.
Yeah, I think social media kicked in with like April times. I'm gonna say where everyone started properly like networking and stuff like that. And then we jumped on the Insta lives. Yeah, there's a lot of good people. That's how we met you guys.
And it's crazy,
yeah, and now like our page is doing really well. We get so many bookings for it now as well. So that's another avenue to go down. But yeah, I think that's a general background.
Yeah, and obviously we've all went on to do like things like JVs and stuff like that. So yeah, like pretty much that's our journey in like with a pinch of salt. Obviously there's a lot more to it. You guys know the SA journey, so yeah, man.
So if you guys can remember back when you're first starting out, how was it with like your response of the knowledge you knew then and trying to get your first deal? Was you going direct to landlord, to agents, was you doing both?
So okay, at the start we just was trying to get to anyone kind of thing. So you're just making calls, calling agents, calling landlords, calling this. And I remember at the time I was actually sending on Open Rent, I was sending messages on Open Rent, and I don't think I got one response from a landlord, not even, you know what I'm saying, like one response, but I kept calling agents. Obviously agents have to pick up, so most of them were saying no until I finally got through to one agent in Birmingham. So yeah, like it was very difficult, and it's a numbers game. And we always say this to people as well, like on your first deal you will most likely get burnt, or like most likely pay over the odds because it's your first deal. You kind of literally, so your first deal you most likely get burnt. So but it's about how much you get burnt, kind of thing. So and obviously even with that, now I'm actually looking back at it like there was a reason why I probably didn't get one reply from a landlord back in them times on Open Rent. And now that if I send a message on Open Rent now, the message that I know I sent and stuff like that is I get pretty much all the landlords reply. Either they say no or they say I'm happy to do it, but it's better than them just not even. But the difference I'd say is before I just used to send them a message but now I actually like I click like book a viewing, and obviously that I think that might go into like a different part of the landlord's messages or something.
Yeah.
They probably just look at their message rather than the other rubbish. So yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, pretty much, and that's the difference. And obviously, more confidence, the more unity you have, obviously you won't get burnt. You're not as desperate. Like deals come to you more now because obviously, it's like, especially you guys, you know, with sourcing. Like when you source, you now got the relationship with the agent and stuff like that. So like, yeah, man, like literally, it's much easier now.
Yeah.
But it's literally just a number game at the start. A numbers game. Literally, just gotta make as many calls as possible, and like every call, right. What you don't have to write because it might be long because you want to make loads of calls, but there were people who say write it, but I would just say know in your head what went wrong, what went right, and like kind of use that to go forward and like make the next call kind of thing. But yeah, pretty much.
Completely agree with that one, to be honest.
Exactly, man.
So did you guys decide you want to do SA from the jump, or you were just kind of winging it like we were?
Pretty much, yeah. I remember at the time. It was either essay or it was what's the other one?
Rent-to-rent HMO.
Nah, not even HMO. I didn't even think about HMO. I'll be honest.
Options?
Lease option agreements. Yeah. I remember I was so close. Like we were so close to securing a lease option agreement at the start. Like literally, because it was a house down the road from my house, and I knew that obviously I used to go to uni, go to college. Like I used to drive past the house. I know that house has been empty, derelict. And like we went there, I spoke to landlord. I was actually going back and forth with landlord for weeks until something happened in his family and just lost that connection. And then months later, where we're now, like actually January, the guy messaged me that he's still interested. I was just like, honestly, no.
So is that something that you would go down into eventually, or is that?
Yeah, I think lease option agreements at the moment and buy refurbished finance as well. They're the two things that we're actually looking realistically at going down as we grow the SA. But at the moment, we're just trying to focus and like make SA the best. Because obviously, we don't want to be jack of all trades and master of none. We want to master SA and then go on to the rest kind of thing.
If you haven't seen their property tour, they have a very iconic brand with you guys. The mustard yellow, obviously, you've got the colours now. Which one of you is it that really kind of decided this is the colours and this is, because they're all very consistent amongst all your units. So
the company name was just named after my dad, like rest in peace, so and stuff like that. But obviously mustard colour, Alliyah,
Mustard, like there's so many people that are like, oh, you've got a Zoom bag, and I'm like, no, I've had this bag for years. I just like mustard. But yeah, I think it goes nicely with Zoom as well. Now I can't really imagine Zoom another colour.
Exactly.
And it definitely, the branding behind it has come in handy, because even guests will say like, oh, I think we've seen another property that's yours, but they'll pick up like the consistency throughout our properties. But yeah, I love mustard.
So you feel like it's definitely important to have like a consistent theme.
I think it's very, very important, and that's the one thing I kept on saying in the video tour as well. I don't know if Alliyah kept on saying it in her bits, but like it's just like differentiating yourself like from everyone else. Like everyone will see something and think, oh, that looks amazing, and want to copy it. It's fine copying and stuff like that, but you also got to put your own twist to it, because at the end of the day, everyone gets inspiration from everyone, like kind of thing. Like I said on the tour, we did this dining area bit. We saw like the wall and like our lamp that's over there. We saw it on the video, on the picture where they was trying to advertise this dining table, this actual dining table. But we now thought to ourselves, okay, how can we make it like kind of our own kind of thing? So we decided to put the lamp there, these things, the chairs and stuff like that. So it's always nice to differentiate yourself, because in a competitive market, that's what gets you different to everyone else. So mustard is our colour and stuff like that. But I won't say like a lot of people do use it, and you know, say a lot of people do tend to use it, but it's about how often do you use it? How often so we try to make that in every one of our properties, but then we try to change the colour scheme around it. If that makes sense. So you'll usually find like the living room and the master bedroom have the like mustard running throughout, and then we'll have like either a green or blue as the other room.
The bathroom, I think the toilet brush and the
everything
was yellow. That was nice.
Literally,
Because then it flows in, when it's like the ensuite, that mustard from the bedroom like
Yeah.
flows.
Yeah. So it's just branding, like, literally just branding, and that's one of the main things, that branding, and just consistent with the branding kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's very important as
Yeah.
well. That's one thing that you don't realize at the beginning. You kind of just think, oh, let me just get a unit and just set it up.
Yeah.
And then later on down the line, you're like, oh, wait, maybe I should kind of keep it consistent.
Exactly.
Because especially we think with scaling, you want to have one set theme, and then
Yeah.
each unit kind of
Exactly,
looks like that, and it makes
exactly.
it a lot easier to scale.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's
very
even
important.
another thing. Like now, when we take on a new unit, we've got literally the same things that we order, and then say it's like a 2-bed, we order, okay, cool, for living room, for like literally the same things, but then with the other bedroom, we're not like, oh, how do we want to make this bedroom look this time? Do we want it pink? Do we want it yellow? Do we want it grey? Do we want it
So regarding that, do you have like the same suppliers that you buy from every time, or do you mix it up, or depends on what seasons and come in?
It depends on lockdown, is really
Yeah.
So when we're like out of lockdown, it's easier to like run through different shops, and even like not necessarily branded shops like B&M and stuff. If you find little local shops, they usually have gems and stuff in as well.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder in lockdown. Obviously, you're really stuck to where you can get furniture from.
Exactly, and literally, like, to add to that as well, like, we do have, and in the video as well, I'm gonna make it a secret, we go to IKEA a lot. IKEA is like a big thing for us, and Dunelm and places like that, that's like our like go-to places for when we take on a unit. But then, like I said, when we want to now, sometimes we find that when we do something, now like other people are kind of following suit, which is fair enough. So we're now like, okay, cool, how do we now switch it up?
Like
like this, I think we had bought this already, and then we bumped into this in like next or something, I think, and we were like, no, that goes with it. Like, we'll have to
so
pick that up.
So it's literally like just about just keep like. You also you have to watch people. You have to watch your competitors as well, and watch what everyone else is doing, because SA industry, especially in Birmingham, is competitive, and it just moves fast. Like it's very. The thing that was the in thing a couple months ago is not the in thing anymore.
The geometric.
Exactly.
thing.
Literally. So.
No shade.
So yeah, man. Like literally. Literally, we just try to differentiate ourselves all the time, and there's power in like being different to everyone else, kind of thing, standing out. So yeah, that's one thing, like literally.
So obviously we're in a lockdown again. How has the lockdown affected your business and your bookings and whatnot? And what have you done?
Take that.
Yeah. So I think was it March 14th when all the cancellations came through? I think so.
Remember that day,
It scarred me for life.
Literally. The cancellations were just rolling through, and we'll be lying if we said the first day, I'd say we weren't just like, business is done. Like that's it.
We was thinking like damn, like.
And then I just remember thinking like, right, do you know what? You've just got to adjust. We're gonna make this work. You can still. Were you allowed to travel still then? Yeah, contractors. So that's basically what happened. You have to adjust. You can't sit back and think, oh, okay, bookings were still rolling. No, booking.com was blocked. Airbnb was blocked. So now it was about going back to all our previous guests, especially ones that stayed for work, calling them up, getting them in, and we managed to secure contractors at all of the places for like a good few weeks. And then that time was different, but I think now it's a lot more different. Like Airbnb and booking.com calendars are open, and what the direct bookings that we've built, like contact details and stuff like that, is a lot larger than we had last April.
So it's like it was a bittersweet moment in terms of it was bitter in the moment, but I think I'm a person that genuinely thinks a lot of things happen for a reason. That probably happened to say, yo, like, you guys are new. There's a lot of people that have dropped out of the industry now, and that has whittled a lot of people out. But there's people that now is like, who's stronger now? Now people that are gonna go through are gonna be people that will withstand anything. Because if we're able to withstand that, honestly,
I don't think anything
it's not exactly. So even that, we started networking. That's how we met you guys and stuff like that. So it's like little things that we were probably neglecting. because of that wasn't we
Yeah,
like we was just gassed because we have 2 units of this game fully booked and
I
like
wanted to touch on that as well
Yeah.
because I think it seems like if you're in rent to rent in the property world, you know Zoom. Everyone pretty much knows Zoom.
I hope so.
How was it, or how did you find it building your brand and your name? And obviously, you mentioned you did the Instagram lives.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea to do that? And then how did that? Because you're at over 2,000 followers now.
I
yeah
think about 2.5.
yeah
Yahoo
Just shy of
Finance. What was the other award? The
black
Oh, yeah,
excellence,
yeah.
featuring a lot of places. So how was it building your brand and your name and getting yourself out there?
I think it was like, obviously it was when lockdown kicked in.
Yeah.
It was just a bit like, right, we've got to do something different. Fela deals with a lot more of like the behind the scenes of like actually getting on the properties. We had guests staying in long term, so my job was, I was almost like made redundant. There wasn't anything to do. So then I was like, do you know what, let's try with Insta a bit more.
yeah
And then, we just got networking loads. Obviously, that's how we met you guys, met loads of people, jumped on Insta Lives consistently, like uploading and actual useful uploads.
Yeah.
I like to think that we have a lot of relatable content.
yeah
And then, obviously that moved us into our events.
yeah
And
literally
then,
yeah
we were lucky to have 3 events. And the last one obviously was like really, really good.
yeah
And I also find it fun.
yeah
Just like,
not gonna lie, I don't find them. Before it happens, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I'm more the organizer.
Yeah.
I'll sort it out.
And then when it's happening, because I'm a social person, like in terms of when in person, I can talk, but you guys probably know, like I'm so bad with my phone. I'm so terrible. So like when Alliyah plans everything, I'm just like, not again. But when we're there, it's good. I'll be honest. So it's even that, like, that's why it's good to have two people that do like that kind of do 2 different things. Because if I was the one setting up them events or whatever, if I was just on my own or if Alliyah was just on her own, like if I wasn't feeling to do it, that won't be done, kind of thing. I'll just be like, I'm not doing it, and that's it. But Alliyah's like, no, I'm planning this, so you're going to be there, kind of thing. So, and then, like, for example, we've setting up the properties. If like I'm always the one that I could go all day, not eat, and work throughout the night, like say, because I just want to get things like physically done, kind of thing. So, and Alliyah's just more like,
I'll walk into
kind of thing. So that's why it's always good to just have 2 people that complement each other. So man, like that's one of the things as well, that working on our branding and online presence is very, very important, extremely important. And like networking with different people, like the saying that it's never been more true. Your network is your net worth. Like, there's a lot of bookings that we've got from you guys. Like even during lockdown, like that's one of the things that is like during lockdown, you guys gave us so many, like it's like, wow, thank you very much, and as well. Like literally just building your network and just trying to speak to as many people as possible.
Important. I think that's where we're trying to more focus on the social media side of things.
Exactly,
obviously we've been doing SA for a while now. It's been about almost 2 years, isn't it? Or coming up to 2 years.
Yeah.
So it seems a bit samey, we're feeling.
Yeah.
You get excited when you get the bookings, but it's not.
It's not the same.
Yeah. Get to the next thing. So you mentioned before about when on the Samuel Leeds crash course.
Yeah.
Obviously we was at the same event. We didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other. That's crazy. I probably spoke to you.
Do you feel like now that all the knowledge you know, it's necessary to go to a training event and get the knowledge and then go in?
Okay.
Or would you have done some mentoring or coaching, or how would you have done it if you had to go back in time and do it all over again?
Okay, if I had to go back in time and do it all over again, honestly, I'll still go on that training.
Yeah.
Or I'd at least pay for a training, because I think that's what actually kind of pushed us to start, in terms of we put this money in, you can't not start anything, because like that's money just wasted, and the money that you would put in was not, at the time, it wasn't funny. It was like $2,000, like that's not it's come back. That's a car, like, you know what I'm saying. And at the time, that's why I used to measure things, because I used to buy and sell cars. So like, I'd measure, like, I could have bought and sell a car with that. So it's like, I would have definitely paid for a training. But as well, it's like, don't make the training the be and end all of you or your journey or whatever, because I see a lot of people do that. They expect to pay their money, because in this world, when you pay for stuff, you usually get something back. But with training, it's not about that. You pay for it to kind of get access to the knowledge, but it's about how much you use with the knowledge and how you kind of take control of your training kind of thing. So yeah, I will definitely go on training, but it depends on what kind of training, and just kind of, you can also learn from people on Instagram, like even our lives that we used to do, like even from this video, people can learn, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's different things, and just about how much you want to learn kind of thing. And
I never went obviously on the crash course, but personally, I don't think it's necessary. I think it can definitely help you and like make your journey maybe go quicker.
Yeah.
You can scale quicker and things like that, and making less mistakes. But you can definitely get started without training. There's so much on YouTube, podcasts, Instagram.
Is that training? That is training. Like, but it's just not paid training.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I don't always see the necessity of the startup training, but I can understand more so like scaling training, if that makes sense. So once you've got a few units, then being trained to like make this 100 units or whatever. Whereas the beginning, even with the best training in the world, there are certain things you're not learning. You've got your essays.
Exactly.
And that's where we gain definitely our most knowledge. Once you actually had them, there's only so many YouTube videos and podcasts you can listen to before. But once you've got it, even us, we didn't think about the cleaners until we went live.
What you did?
No.
Honestly, like,
Fela was lucky. Well, I say luckily, but it was still very silly. We didn't even know at the time, but the unit we took on was literally here, and Fela's uni placement was here. It was across.
So I used to go clean it myself in my break time.
And like take it.
And like I'll take the linen home every night, iron it. Bro, I hated essay at that point.
You know what? Yeah, you know what was funny, because we used to do that as well. And you can never iron it as good as your cleaning.
Exactly.
They get bare creases, iron bed sheets.
Like, how do you, bro? It's like I used to like fold it in half, iron it, fold it. Oh my god!
And then when you're like pushing it over, like you've done a bit, and
it goes dirty because it's hit the floor. So it's like,
we learned quickly. You needed to.
So even like stuff like that, we're laughing now, but it's genuinely like stuff that we went through, and it was a struggle because and like at the time we didn't know what to do, and obviously like that would have been something simple. You would just like watch the YouTube video or something and essay. That would have been like something that would have definitely known how to do, kind of thing, and know that that's a no go. But to be fair, I think we did know, but we tried to also be cheap and like. Is also finding out. So there's something that you might learn on training, but it's not for you. So, for example, that at the time we thought that wasn't for us, like trying to get cleaner, we can do it ourselves, kind of thing. And we probably did. I probably did learn that on the training, because there's no way that you're not being told about that. So.
I think you are right. We just thought, it'll take half an hour to
exactly.
Linen's easy, just put it in the washing machine and dry it out.
So literally, and that's the thing that like the people, when you go on trainings, like we go from, they're human beings, so they teach you from their experiences. So like you guys' experience is different to ours. The stuff that you guys can teach us that we try and put it into our actions, but it doesn't work for us. So it's also finding that, like Alliyah said, be going into it, diving in head first, kind of thing. And we'll see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because at the end of the day, people have different locks and different things, like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, literally. And even with regards to, like, say your plates, because there's a strategy. We try to go luxury. You can also go for, like, more contractors or less, like, luxury kind of strategies. And there's different kind of clients you might have. Like, even the color schemes you have, like, there's people that... It might be a kind of people that like that color scheme, and then you're trying to learn from someone who's got a different color scheme too. There's all little things like that, so you have to kind of be in it yourself to kind of know as well.
I agree, because I think you have to kind of figure out what works for your business. Because we prefer, like, for example, to just buy our linen outright and then the cleaner just has it there. Whereas you guys sometimes hire a linen company and that works for you as well. So I think just whatever works for your business works.
But like you said, you have to learn these things on the job. No matter how many times someone can say it to you, once you actually do it, it's a whole different ballgame.
It's different ballgame.
There were so many times we were like, no one mentioned this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
Even
little things like setting up an Airbnb profile.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
the
like-
first one.
Like the Airbnb, I think is quite simple. When you setting up a booking.com,
Oh my
putting a listing on
Yeah.
booking.com,
Oh my God.
Even
whoa.
like Wi-Fi.
Yes.
It was actually when we were doing the
Oh.
Airbnb listing, fella was like, we've forgotten something. And
Yeah,
then
we
he
need
was
Wi-Fi, and then
yeah,
Wi-Fi takes 2 weeks to come.
Yes.
So it's like that's another thing. It's like
Whereas
like-
now, literally contracts, even before contracts,
contract sign, we order the Wi-Fi
Mhm.
because we
Yeah,
know that
exactly.
that's what takes the most time to come, and that could literally be you either let it out or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
No, honestly, yeah. Guests will cancel if you don't want
and
to.
if you don't, especially like we're in 2021, guess will definitely cancel. And like another thing is well, like even like with TV licensing, we don't have like cable TVs in our thing.
Yeah.
We just have Netflix and stuff like that. That can also help with like your TV license, like stuff like that, because you're not watching cable TV.
Right,
we don't.
right,
So
yeah,
we try to like little things like that because we know that most people they don't really watch cable TV these
No.
days.
Anymore,
So like you rather watch
Netflix, Amazon Prime,
Way
Disney
forward.
Plus.
Yeah.
Literally
Literally.
those three are the
YouTube,
biggest
even
ones.
you know what I'm saying. So
YouTube.
there's stuff that you even get on YouTube that you don't get on well, the stuff that you get on cable TV that's also on YouTube. So like you don't, you know what I'm saying. So it's like little things like that you always learn like how to
Yeah.
do certain things. But yeah, I would say I would definitely just to round that question off, get training, but you don't always have to pay for training.
Right. Definitely get
free
educated.
training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite side of that and trying not to pay for it, and then the amount of money you would lose so fast,
Yeah.
especially in this strategy, is crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
You will
Yeah.
get burnt
You
so
get burned.
quickly.
Yeah.
You get burned,
Yeah,
I
especially.
feel like it's a balance for us, to be honest. I feel like, yes, get some training, but make sure the training's right for you. Make
Yeah.
sure it's within your budget. You're not spending your whole life savings
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
this training. A lot of some trainers, I think, unethically sell to some certain demographics of people.
Yeah.
So I guess is watch out and make your own decision. I guess.
Literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and do your research.
Yeah,
Like,
do your
if you're
research.
putting this person's name into Google and you're seeing like the top
Yeah,
5
yeah.
articles are bad, you need to look elsewhere. Or like just certain things you can hashtag these people's names or training
Yeah.
and see what feedback you get. But
Yeah.
Speak to
Literally.
people as well.
yeah, our best education I think is like Airbnb Automated. He's great.
Oh
Like,
yeah, he's great. Yeah.
And there's loads of podcasts
Yeah.
and stuff, but yeah, I think you could be putting the money that you're paying for training, think about how far it could take you with putting into actual unit.
Yeah. And even it's just even add to that as well. Like we work training. Like you see what like, this algorithm thing on YouTube and like Instagram and all that stuff. People think it's bad, but I think it's actually amazing because like you could be watching a training video how to set up an Airbnb or how to get into a service accommodation, and next thing you know, an advert pops up about someone else's YouTube channel that's teaching that, or that the next to the video the suggestions is also that. So like these days you don't really have to like. You can go deep easily.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you don't really have to start no to no. You can just type. You can know about one person, and then you just get kind of shown around
Yeah.
by YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. So once you immerse yourself in that world, you find that wow, like how did I not know about it? Like even like with the online essay industry world kind of thing. Before we knew about it, we didn't know about it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
when we
yeah.
found one person, we found the next person, we found
Yeah.
and like before you know it, you're like you don't know anything else. It's like wow, like this is a whole world. Yeah.
You know, everyone follows everyone.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
whole
Exactly.
little system there.
It's like literally a whole system, like a whole industry. So yeah, man, like little things like that, like, and also networking as well, just knowing your people. Like even recently, you guys told us about like the Birmingham service accommodations
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
We didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yesterday we found our first benefit from that chat. Like we didn't know about it. You guys told us.
Yeah.
We got into the chat. We saw them talking about a bad guest in the chat, like someone who's destroyed someone else's property. Normally they booked with us. Normally we'll probably say, yeah, good booking. We had 2 days.
And the next one, Alliyah will calling me.
Yeah, so it's like we literally learned from that chat, being in that chat, just saying, and we just cancelled the guest now. We're not having to face any other issues or whatever. It's like
Yeah, so you want to get into a bit of the meat and potatoes of stuff about SA, and we want to show you that the good and the bad. So we want to ask you, what's been your worst experiences within SA? or anything that's like stressed you out or been the negative?
You guys
downsides?
would know. That's one of the things is parties. Like we was
Yeah.
there like last week.
Yeah.
Like a guest booked for 2 people, and it was so. I feel, we actually it was so
How many
bad.
people we
In the
say?
pandemic.
I'll see if we can like
Guys, in the
insert some
pandemic.
footage of it.
Oh.
'cause
Yeah,
it's just
literally.
yeah.
In the pandemic, we got in there was about 30, like not even 30, like 40.
At least.
Like, and this was in like deep lockdown, and the guest booked for 2. And that last week was one of our worst week, hands down, because the night before that we also went to the same property, and there was a guest that was booked for 2, saying they have 6 people in there,
20 of them walked out.
but 20 of them walked out. So it's like, like bad guests is definitely one bad thing.
I
Like,
think that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's the
that
main
ever
thing.
gives us a headache.
Yeah.
Is bad guests. We learned the hard way last New Year's.
yeah,
And
that was our
Oh, yeah,
first
I see
Oh,
your pictures.
Yeah, our one bed was really badly
blood
trashed.
everywhere and stuff like that, bro. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
it
man.
was really bad. But then after that happened, and this is what we mean by once you're in it is when you really learn. Then we had a deposit that was taken, and we had
Yeah.
ID that we had to take.
Like even now, you don't. We think about it like, why did we never ever think
Do
about
that
it?
before.
Yeah.
But even then, we've even learned even more from then. So we were charging £100 deposit then, whereas now we charge 300.
Yeah.
Because you've got to think as well, if there's 6 people going in, £100 over 6 people, it's not even £20 each.
Yeah.
So everyone will chip in £20 to have a party and
Yeah.
lose that deposit.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're talking £300, that is quite a bit more money at
Yeah.
stake. But yeah, it is just bad guests really. That is the
Yeah.
main headache.
Bad guests, and like for example, like sometimes there's like constant maintenance. Like you could literally be just chilling, and you just have to go fix something now.
Yeah.
Like literally,
2 a.m. calls.
Yeah, 2 a.m.
not
calls,
working
like-
or something like that.
so that's another like thing. Is just, but like, it's part and parcel of the business.
Yeah.
Do I think about it? Would I rather be doing that or having to wake up wake up at 7 a.m. to get to work for 9 and then finish at 5 to get home at 8
Yeah.
and then before you know it, I can't even chill. My friends just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd rather do that, but it's also like everything comes with stress. Nothing's easy in this world. Otherwise, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Exactly.
Or with SA, a lot of people have done it, but not everyone stays, kind of thing. So yeah.
Good point.
Yeah,
I think,
literally.
yeah, we got to a point where we were just like, oh, we don't want to do essays anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck this. Da, 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 da.
They are, I think, and a lot of people that are in other strategies as well say like essay is the hardest strategy.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
But it's also the most rewarding. So it's like no high risk, high reward. So it's like
I think it's the best entry level property
Yeah,
strategy that you
yeah.
can do. It will teach you so much
yeah,
about.
yeah,
And even, like me and Fela were saying, the knowledge and the things that we've gained from, obviously we do it on a rent-to-rent strategy, but there's so much we would know now going into actually buy a property.
yeah,
Even just with like maintenance, certain things that
Yeah.
we've learned from the landlords
exactly.
when like boilers go down or washing machine, things like that we've learned before having to like have the whole like
Yeah.
liability of owning a house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
But
yeah.
sorry, I tried to ask you guys, what made you guys go back into essays? Then obviously I knew you guys were done with it, and I
So
obviously
we're flipping the
yeah,
interview.
yeah,
We just had a very bad first experience.
exactly, yeah,
And
yeah,
then we was just very naive and motivated just to get into there. We didn't think, like you said, like
Your
the
first
smallest
deal.
things that are so obvious now weren't obvious then because
Yeah.
we just don't think that far ahead. So we just had a bad taste at the beginning, but we knew we wasn't gonna go back and backpedal after we invested so much. So
yeah,
we was like, you know what? Lesson learned. We can't now just stop everything. So we want to continue it, and because we know it makes money,
yeah,
we know that we were good at it. It was just this one was bad. So let's have another one. Other one went great. So we knew then that okay, it's not us. It was just it was us, but it was just
The deal was
The
just
deal
really
was
it
bad.
was really bad, yeah.
Once you get a good deal, like it's a good deal.
Exactly.
Like the
Yeah.
video that we're gonna put out, I think it's out already. With our
Oh,
first
yeah.
30 days. Just like when you actually have a good deal, you can make a lot of money.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
From it.
And that's what I said. Yeah, your first deal you will always get burnt, but it's about how much you get burnt
yeah,
because you're kind of desperate on your first deal,
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
We've still got like our first property,
Mm.
but it is definitely more than like market rate, and we wouldn't pay that now.
Now, yeah,
But
it
it's
helped us
still-
get the second one and the third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. One, and what it taught us is priceless, and it still does make
Yeah.
us money.
Yeah.
So we know we could be earning more, but the way we've made it to like what, like you guys have said as well, our branding and stuff like that, we're still keeping it on because it's
Yeah.
not like a loss property kind of thing. It does still bring us money.
Exactly.
So people wanting to get into service accommodation, what would be your best tips that you can give them to succeed, or what is the best lessons that you learned for doing it for almost a year and some change now?
Okay, well, first thing, like we've been saying all day, just dive in head first and just get in, because you will never learn until you learn, until you go in yourself. That's one of the things, just to start up, like the motivation, just do it, literally get it done. And you might get in there and find that it's not for you, because it's not for everyone, but it's about trying it and seeing if it is for you. And guess what, if it's not for you, there's always other strategies. It doesn't mean your property journey is over. There's always other strategies, but because SA is the hardest, but it's also the easiest one to get into. But yeah, that's one thing.
I'd say guest vetting, like from the jump, just get into, take an ID. If they say, even now we're so strict with, if they send a passport, we need a letter or utility bill as well. Otherwise, send your driving license, a deposit, and even us, like the £100 deposit, now we look back and we're like, what would £100 have covered?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So make sure it's reasonable amount, and it's something that, like you said, you've got to think about the maximum number of guests that can book. If they're splitting it, it can't be like £15 each, because I chip in £15 for a party too.
Yeah, exactly.
So guest vetting, definitely, just calling them, making sure your house rules and stuff are just on point. And I think this is included in the guest vetting, but like having minute, you know, like the noise monitor.
Literally up there,
That was a lifesaver last night.
So things like that, and then we also use the NEOS camera as well. That helps us monitor. And even now we're still learning more, but like as soon as that camera is tampered with slightly, you're doing something you don't want to be seen. And of course, it's not invading privacy at all. It only monitors the front door. But so what is it that you don't want us to see? How many people are walking in and out is typically the answer.
Yeah, literally. And like that's one thing we actually learnt recently. Like not learnt because we learnt before, but we're kind of like more strict on it recently. Like if you touch the camera, that's it. Like it's security straight there, because like at this point as well, we want to scale, and scaling you have to kind of be more just rigid with your approach to things. You have to know, okay, this is because before we'd be like, call them, move the camera back, please. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, honestly, guess they'll just take you for a joke. They'll take the piss out of you. They'll be like, I moved it back. Then, like, they'll now move it before someone comes in. And then they'll be like, oh, no, I've moved it back again. Like, now is once you touch the camera, security is straight there. Like, everyone out kind of thing. No playing again, and you lost your deposit because there's no reason for you to move it. Like, before you book, we let you know there's a camera there, so it's up to you to book knowing that there's a camera there. It's not like we're hiding it. There's a camera there, but just make sure you don't move it, kind of thing. So that's one thing. And literally like, you guests will take the piss as much as you let them to take the piss. 100%. Like the other day, we had a guest that booked, and he booked, and we found that it was another thing. If they send you the ID and their birthday is like within a week's period, it's pretty much gonna be a birthday party kind of thing.
It's all intertwined with like the guest vetting.
Yeah, guest vetting. So like the other day, the guest booked. We found out it was his birthday on the day. We called him. He's like, oh no, I'm just having a couple family friends over and stuff like that. We was like, okay, fine. But then
I was on his back, like as soon as it got to 10, the noise started kicking in. I was like, no, like I told you, it needs to be quiet after 10. And then I texted him a second time, and then he replied to me saying, where do we drop the keys back? Yeah. And I was like, they're leaving, like is everything? I called him, I was like, is everything okay? He was like, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you, we're going to be loud, we're going to have a bit of a party, so we're not going to like bother you guys. We're gonna return the keys. We book somewhere else.
Literally, and that's literally with guest visits, and that was also as well, like after New Year's, like even New Year's Day, a lot of people stopped. They cancelled their bookings and stuff like that. We actually went through with it, and we sent like 3 messages to our guests after they booked. Like, be reminded, this is our house rules. No parties. You'll be losing your deposit on the day. Said the same thing. We also called them before checking in. So it's like little things like that. It deterred people, and one of our guests never even showed up because that's probably because they knew that they was gonna have a party, and the others they were just fine. So Yeah, man, literally, guest vetting is probably the most. It will be the making or breaking of you in SA, because
If you let the guests run the business,
Yeah.
your property is gonna be upside
exactly,
down.
and we've seen like stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, like houses getting trashed, like New Year's and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like police kicking out the door, people throwing bottles in the whole house, and
Someone's getting held hostage
Yeah,
by
that was like America.
AR-15 or some crazy stuff.
yeah, and that's like we know now. Like we just look, like me and Ali, we just laughed at each other. Like that's definitely an essay. They definitely don't have. They definitely don't have a camera in there. They definitely don't have security. They don't definitely have NIOS to check how much noise it is. They definitely don't have security guards. They probably use essays that just lay it out.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on with their property, kind of thing. So
I don't know how they do that because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
we've actually stayed at essays where there's no cameras or no NIOS or whatever, and it's like, how do you survive?
At home, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like even now, it's become routine. Before I'm like going up to bed and stuff,
Let's
like
just check.
cameras, everyone's fine. The noise, like mine here, all the noise is fine. Now I sleep well. Whereas I'd be itching at home, like, what's the noise like? Are the neighbours gonna call me? Are the police there? Is there a party?
There's no way of like stopping bad guests coming because they're very creative now. Like they will slip through your system.
And like obviously, it's like a net. Like you like shift the bad ones out, then shift some more out. Like, there will always be people that slip through, but it's about minimizing that because you don't want your house to be known as a party house. Same way us SA operators know what guests to never allow in our places in Birmingham, for example, that we have the chat and stuff like that. The same way some guests know. And it's word of mouth. Oh yeah, I had a party there last week. Call them. You've been
That
to
was like
look.
our first units.
That was
pretty much
literally
the
us.
party.
Literally. We were the units. We'd be like, yeah, come have a party over there. Like it's alright. Literally.
Yeah, man. Like
very, very good tips. We are going to make some content about keeping your property secure and what we're talking about a bit more about it in depth as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But
man,
that is the biggest risk to service accommodation. That is the number one thing.
Yeah, I think I was going to add on to that as well. I think if you have to set the tone before your guests come. Obviously, be nice and friendly, but if you do this, you have to be very specific as well. Because before we used to be like, no parties, no smoking, blah, blah, blah. But it's like now, no parties. This is what a party means. If the sound system goes above, is it 80 decibels now?
90 decibels is like the party rate.
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be very specific because these guests are getting smarter and smarter. They're well, what's the party? How do you know?
Show me your terms and conditions.
Show me your terms. Exactly. So yeah, I think definitely just be straightforward.
You have to be strict.
I guess I have kind of a last question. With regards to setting up the units, obviously there's a lot of stuff to buy.
Yeah.
So how do you guys manage your budget? Do you have a budget in mind for every unit, or do you kind of just wing it? And
you see us here, we have a budget at the start. Then it just gets blown out. I'll be honest.
But with reason, I'd like to say, like we don't buy. Well, I don't think so. We don't buy silly things. Sometimes it is like we're gonna buy this lampshade, which wasn't in the budget, but it fits the vibe and it makes the place look really nice. So it's worth whatever the cost.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they said this was like $1,000, we're not gonna do that. But we'll look for like
alternatives.
Alternatives, a cheaper version.
Amazon is our best friend for that. Like literally.
And like. What's it called? Like, is it the opportunity cost or something?
Yeah.
So like, if we were to like, I don't know, spend extra on like putting TVs in all the rooms. This place, all the bedrooms and living room has TVs. What will that bring us? And then obviously, guests are happy to know. Oh, like if it's two couples going in, they're not fighting over who gets the better room. Like they've both got TVs in. So we always just make sure if it is going out of budget, it's for a reason, and we'll be able to gain back from it in the long run.
Exactly.
And on to that, with service accommodation, it is important to stay one up on your competition and making sure that you're getting that booking over the hundreds of other SOPs. So what type of things that you guys do to make sure that you are the ones that get booked apart from everybody else? Because especially in Birmingham,
it's very,
very competitive.
It's very competitive. But what do we do to kind of stay up with that? Literally, we make sure we reply to guests as soon as possible. We find the guests. Nowadays, we're trying to find the guests rather than they find us, because it's like if you find them, like they just it's human nature to be lazy. Like I didn't want to book a place, by the way. Oh yeah, I'll book it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than them searching and then picking like, you know what I'm saying. So That's another thing. And one up as well is like I said, marketing, your branding and stuff like that, making sure you have your colours and then always improving on it. Because these chairs are we didn't have the same yellow chairs as before, but these are better quality ones, better higher quality ones than we first had, if that makes sense. So
even like sofa beds.
Yeah.
We used to have the ones that were like basically on like sticks or
Yes,
thin legs.
and they
And
just get broken.
they just get
so
broken,
quickly.
like
And
literally.
we learned, we were being cheap, honestly. It wasn't even £200 that sofa bed, whereas now we invest in sofa beds and the good ones that we've got haven't needed replacing.
Exactly.
And they've lasted us. So
Exactly.
yes, is it an investment basically? You're just buying something that's silly and not needed, like little things like clocks. You don't need to put them in the properties, but if it's £20 and it adds to the aesthetic,
Like
it's fine.
like I said in the video, the clock is there to remind guests your checkout is at 11. So
But yeah, I think
I would
definitely things are investments.
Yeah. I'm just making sure, just like proper planning, and just making sure you're just always always looking at what everyone's doing as well, because that's how you stay one up. Because if you're looking at what everyone's doing, you gotta be in your own lane, but look at what everyone's doing and be like, okay, how can I make that better?
Yeah.
That's it, literally.
And even like myself, I usually deal more with like the listings and stuff. I'm always on like Airbnb and Booking.com, like, okay, our pricing is like good compared to other people's, and like, oh, someone's added this to their essays now, we need to look into that.
And even the names of the property on Airbnb, it helps with SEO and your ranking and all that stuff. I mean, so even the names, like the names of the property, like you just gotta keep updating your names to kind of to boost your ranking all the time, kind of thing, because that just helps. Like, when you boost your ranking, your property comes up at the first one, and then that's what I was gonna say as well. Like, if you can either pick two ways: make your property look the best by far, or always constantly working in the background, like reaching out to guests, and like.
And then I was going to say as well, once you've actually even secured the booking, make sure that the guests, like the customer service, they have their best time. And stuff like that, because especially when you've got locals booking, word of mouth spreads. So if they have a bad experience with you, people are going to know about it, and if they have a good experience with you, a lot of bookings can come from that. Because we do get a lot of referrals now. Like, a lot of the places that are even booked for tonight have been people that have been referred. I'd say 3 out of our 5.
Out of 5. And that's, to add to that, you don't want your place, again, you don't want the place to be known as a party house, because word of mouth spreads again, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, you just gotta be the same with every guest, like, follow your house rules, because then...
And I think it's the whole guest journey, like, it's not just whilst they're there, or it's not just trying to secure the booking, it's before, whilst they're there, and after, following it up, like, if they were good guests and stuff, obviously, thanks for being a good guest, you can stay with us again.
Discounts.
Offering discounts for staying with us again, offering discounts for referrals, things like that. And then we have a lot of, like, repeat guests now that stay with us regularly. It definitely works. It works out.
I think adding on to that as well, because we do a lot of research into everyone, because we're all competition at the end of the day. But I think we try to pick our market and then see what other people in our market are doing and what's something else that we can add. We're very strict when it comes to our budget. We don't want to just buy stuff just because it looks pretty. Because at the end of the day, there's a ceiling on how much you can charge.
Of course.
And why are we paying £1,000 for wallpaper when the next person is not going to be charging any more than we're charging?
Exactly,
So I think, definitely have your market in mind and then go and buy stuff to cater to your market. One of the things that you definitely have to invest in is the sofa bed, for sure.
Yeah,
the furniture you have to invest in.
That's so important. Don't go cheap on your furniture.
If you go cheap,
you
end up
break.
having to replace it anyway.
And you just spend more money like you was going to spend before. Yeah, 100%. That's one main thing. Your furniture don't go cheap, man.
But even that, you know how we were saying earlier about you don't learn it all until you're in it. We thought, this is a nice sofa bed. It's only £100 and
that's another thing as well. The TVs, go cheap on TVs. I know we're saying we don't go cheap, but go cheap on TVs, because.
You mean like second hand?
Yeah, buy second hand TVs, because if you buy new TVs. they're just too expensive compared to like second-hand TVs. So I
That's
know,
what we find.
yeah, we find, but obviously they might just make sure you find that the ones that are good and actually good quality, test them out properly and stuff like that. Because we've been burnt. Like we've got like 2 TVs that don't work because we bought it second-hand. But it's not because we bought it second-hand only. It's because we bought them and we didn't check it properly. So when you buy TVs, check it and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's definitely ways to like cut on the price, and that's one of ours is not buying it from Currys or whatever. We've saved hundreds and hundreds from buying like second-hand TVs.
We find the exact same as well. We go on Facebook Marketplace,
Find loads.
literally
So many.
But
you find some nice things on there as well.
100%.
It's not all like used mattresses and like stuff like that. Sometimes there's people that's like, oh, I ordered this dining table and they sent me 2. And it's literally like an unused one and stuff. But yeah, second-hand stuff can sometimes be
come in handy, man.
Definitely.
I think it's good as well because you can find unique pieces.
Yeah.
Because everyone kind of tends to shop in the same B&M, and Home Sense and stuff like that. So you can kind of get that piece that nobody else has and just kind of make sure you get a little bit different.
Bespoke stuff.
How do we round off the interview?
Well, thank you for letting us interview you guys.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for having us.
Like you said, if you haven't watched it already, watch their property tour. It's amazing. Shout out to your Instagram.
Okay,
Is
so
it all consistent on Zoom Properties again?
yeah, so we have our Instagram. We've got our page. If you want to learn more about essays and just like kind of our journey kind of thing, follow zoom.properties. If you're a guest looking to book with us, follow zoom.ins, right? Yeah.
We'll link it down below anyway.
Yeah.
For you to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Fine girl rocking your waist on your backside. Back it up on me, girl, no go waste time. Pour up the Henny, me no drink no red wine.